Hello, everyone. This is episode 103, and this is Root of Nightmares Prep Podcast. So, if you want to hear absolutely nothing about the raid, go ahead and just hit the like button, and then exit out of this window. That way, you're good. But we're going to talk about the raid, talk about what we think going into the raid. We'll see how much Fox lets slip about what he's already read and know about the raid.
Nothing. I know a lot, but I won't say anything.
So,
we'll see.
Talk about probably the characters that we'll be taking in. And, of course, like Bungie said, some things are on the no-no list, and you can't be using them in the raid. So,
and I think I owe Jared a bottle of Buffalo Trace. I was drunk tweeting last night, and I think just screwed myself right out of a bottle of Buffalo Trace. So, congratulations, Jared. Jared has no idea. He never even saw the tweet. That's the funny part.
I did see the tweet, and I was really confused. I was like, I don't remember this bet. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah. No, I got tanked last night. I got tanked last night, played some Destiny, and just kind of went on a little tweet spree on the account. So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, last night.
I'll take full responsibility for my actions, though.
I was sitting here just watching that wheel spin. It's sitting in the queue. I'm like, All right, so I start looking through at YouTube shorts and stuff like that, and I look up, still not connected. Go check out a couple of streamers. They're doing the same thing. So I literally it's like, dang, one night less to prep for this raid.
Yeah, man, we got and then I finished work up today, like this morning. I had a meeting, come home, and it was like 2 more hours of the same crap today. I was like, you've got to be, every time I've sat down at multiple like different time periods of the day, different days. Just bad news. I know you guys haven't got to play much this week, but Mars Battleground, not gonna be a fun nightfall for GM.
Nah.
Not gonna be fun at all.
It's gonna be Chain and Ursa's, and
like the beginning of that nightfall and the boss room of that nightfall are going to be absolute nightmares.
So yeah, to the first one of it, you only need one person capturing, and the other people can be standing like farther back, just shooting ads and keeping them off of you. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think you only need to retouch the plate if an ad touches the plate. So if you're absolute animals, you can
all that
activate
time
it and run away.
You burn all that time, you're going to be hurting in the boss room.
Oh yeah,
you run out of because it's a long boy.
It's junk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, start posting links here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think more about it, because that's the Hive one where the dude just coming around and smashing you, right?
Yeah. Yep. The big Hive, the guy that's in the Shattered Throne, the 3 big knights. Yep.
I was reading some stuff, and it was like, if you don't burn the boss and you kind of just go through it and just take her out ads and then damage the boss, you're set up way better. But once you start in and just go to melt that boss, you will you set yourself up for failure from then on out, because there's just too many ads coming in at once.
I think the Arc, like a Arc Warlock, might be the play there, because it's got that super long, like ad control super. If you wear like the Crown of Tempest or whatever, I like to call it the Crown of Thorns. But put that on and you can really do some damage on ads.
If anybody joining, we're still in the pre-show right now. We're just gradually just warming up our vocal cords, trying to get the voice cracks out of the way for the podcast.
Ow, now, brown cow.
Red leather, yellow leather.
We'll probably briefly talk about Vexcalibur, but mainly be focused on TWAB and what we've done this week. Weapons breakdown is going to be talking about a weapon that is non-meta that you're bringing into the day one raid. So be prepared for that. You too.
I'm glad we discussed that before.
Yep.
Before we started.
Yep. So you just be
A
thinking about that.
non-meta weapon.
Yep. So basically,
Okay.
sleeper with a horde, Izzy, rocket swap, Ostro Striga. Like everybody knows about that stuff.
I got one that's a big just in case because it sometimes messes around.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'll have to think
Yeah.
if someone else pulls it.
I finished the
Tractor cannon count.
Yeah, it's like the most consistent way to get a 30%. And then I got my two-tail fox catalyst done today.
Yeah.
I got mine done too. Nice. And I finally got my Quicksilver Storm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. Finally got it done. 1,000 freaking kills before the catalyst was done.
It's a lot. That is a lot.
A lot, but if you main it for 2 characters going through the story and stuff, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
That all it takes?
That's all it takes, man. I mained that thing all last week, but I got it done pretty quick.
Like,
I wanted it
why
to be
did
strand, so
why
I could.
did they make that one be so much longer than the others?
I don't know, man. Because it changed type? I don't know. I got no clue, man.
I don't know, because the bow wasn't. It didn't take that long to get the bow one.
No.
I got the bow one done doing the quest, and then still got it done after that. Before I got it took less time to do like the 200 completions or whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that bow. Yeah.
I got that one done too first. And I still don't have the catalyst for Twin-Tailed Fox.
Yeah, but you've probably only done like 9 activities it could drop in.
Yeah, seasonal don't count for that one.
I know.
Okay.
But I did all of the playlist stuff for all characters last week.
So I guess you did 20. I guess you had 27 shots at it. We might as well say 30 because we had to do the Nightfall a couple times.
Yep.
By the way, it takes 3 Nightfalls to get your 200,000 this week. You get about 80 to 85 each run.
So that's on the easiest version.
On the hero?
The one that match makes you, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This minus
That's so
15,
gross.
15 delta for legend stuff, it just makes me not want to do this stuff. So I think
Well, the good news is we're almost to the point where we don't have to. We're about 2 weeks away probably from Pinnacle Cap.
And then we don't care anymore.
Yep.
Or we give up on it early and just focus on rating.
Yeah, because next week we don't.
Get the drops.
Next season, there's not a bump, is there?
no.
Sheesh. So once you get there, you're done, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Might actually finally make a complete vault, all 1810, just because I get bored.
That's real effing bored.
Yep. All right. You guys ready?
Yep. All right. Getting ready to click the button and stuff. Everybody have squiggles?
I don't
Squiggle,
have lines,
squiggle,
but
squiggle.
I see squiggles on you, Jared.
Oh yeah, I see Jared squiggling.
Oh, this is the pre-show. You had to be here for it. The new intro music. Did you guys hear the updated?
The one you sent this morning, or
Yeah, I think the second one I sent. There's a third one that I haven't shared with you guys yet. It should be ready by next week.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's
I
just say
listened to both the ones you sent.
there's a surprise. There's a surprise in the third one.
Did he remix you saying "Go Cats"?
No, that'd be pretty rad there. Right from every episode, just me saying that.
Just, like it's building and then it gets quiet. Go Cats. Spoons, spoons, spoons.
Yeah. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Love
you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. All right, clicking the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 103 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is March the 9th, 2023. I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, and I am here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared?
Yeah, good second week to the season and to the expansion. Got a lot done. Besides Bungie taking away one night of play for before prep for this raid.
And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
I was busy the day that it wasn't down, and the day that it was is when I had free time. So I was able to play through the weekly Defiance story just before this podcast, so now I know what's going on.
And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend requests. That way we can play games with you, get you in the Discord server, and all of that. I believe, was it Sam that brought the TWAB this week? Yeah. I looked earlier, but can't remember for sure. We'll have Jared clarify that after the break. But before we get into all that, let's listen to our intro music from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone. Episode 103. Here we are, getting ready for another day one / contest raid race. That's basically kind of what this TWAB centered around a little bit. Some other stuff going on. But I think that's the thing on most players' minds. And we'll be taking you through a little bit of our thought process as we go through this TWAB and weapons breakdown, mailbag questions. All that stuff is going to be centered around the raid and weapons and stuff like that we'll be taking into there. Now, if you're not participating or you're going to be watching for a little bit, there's some emblems for you to go out and get, and that's in the TWAB, one of the first things they talk about. So Bungie's teamed up with Twitch Rivals, so that means they put affiliates and partners against each other to do a race. So in a situation that the winning team is not streamers for Twitch at all, which I would see would be very rare. If they're not, then that means somebody from Twitch Rivals can still get their first place in the Twitch Rivals stream. So let's just say somehow, LFG team wins it all. No one's streaming, and then As Across's team comes back through. They're like the number 2 team, but the number 1 on Twitch. That means they get like a bunch of prize money and stuff for winning, even though they don't get the belts. So if you watch 2 hours of the Twitch Rivals stream, you'll get a free emblem. And then after that, if you watch 2 hours of anybody else streaming Destiny 2 over the next 48 hours, whenever the raid goes live, you'll get another emblem. And these emblems look pretty awesome. Like black backgrounds with some other stuff going on. So I don't know about you. As when it comes to free emblems, those look some of the best ones.
I thought the fire one looked the best personally.
Yeah, I was digging on that fire one too, and I was like,
Yeah.
dang, I'm gonna have to have a stream going like while I'm
I
at
had
work,
to
not watching it, just having it in like on
like
my
an
phone over in
AFK
the
stream.
corner, just so I can get those emblems.
So we're going to talk about some of the rules that's going to be going on for the day one race. So it's going to launch with contest mode, and it's going to be enabled for 48 hours starting at 9 a.m. PST and ending March 10th at 10 a.m. PST. So during that time, for most people in America, you're going to be springing forward an hour on that Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So you're not getting an extra hour there. It's still going to be 48 hours. You would need to be 1780 power to be at level for all encounters, and then contest mode will keep you 20 power under for every encounter. Artifact power does count, but will not boost you any above 1780. You'll always be at that minus 20 delta. Whenever Bungie sees that the first team finally complete it, they will take some time to verify that they are correct. But in the meantime, if you are racing trying to get that first place, once everybody hits the chest, make sure you go to orbit, because that's when your time officially sets. Usually,
Hey, what would happen if somebody got like DC'd in Final Stand? They couldn't rejoin, and then like 5 people loot the chest and then go to orbit. Is that a 5-person win, or how does that work? How would that work?
I would really hope Bungie would accept the 6th person as one of the winners. You know,
it would out of our raid team, it would be Jared.
Yeah,
that got kicked.
You'd
kicked
hear
during
robot
Final
noises,
Stand.
and then he's gone.
Yeah,
like I would it would be terrible but hilarious if that happened. So
Oh
Yeah.
man, we wouldn't hear from him for like a week or two.
I think
He'd
I'll
just be
give up.
he just
all
wouldn't turn
comms.
he wouldn't turn his computer. He would just turn the computer off and never come back.
Yeah. Right into the sunset at that point. All right. So of course the winners, they get the belts. Along with completing the raid, you have ability to purchase raid jacket, raid pins, raid seals at the Bungie store. Now, most of that stuff has usually got some time gates on it. I know the jackets usually have to complete it in the first 7 or 10 days, the raid, in order to get a jacket code, or is it the first week?
So it used to be the first week, but they extended it. I think you have till like 21st or something, maybe. I don't know. I saw a date somewhere today, and it was like by not like the next weekly reset in like 3 days, but like 10 days.
March 21st.
So you have a while.
Yeah, so you have 11 days. It's not bad. March 21st. You have until like the next reset.
And then you are awarded the opportunity to spend $200 on a jacket that is 2 sizes smaller than what you expect it to be when it comes in.
All right, moving on. Season of Deep is what next season is. And so Bungie wanted to let us know ahead of time that in that season, we are going to be getting a quest through Osiris and about his research more into the Veil. And whenever we do that quest, all of our characters are going to get another aspect for Strand. Titan's going to get Fletchet Storm. Was it Fletche? Hunter's going to get Threaded Spectre, and Warlock's going to get the Wanderer.
I think
And
think it's Falaise Storm.
Falaise Storm.
Yeah.
And then also coming with that is a hand cannon that kind of we seen on like the main advertisement for Lightfall, like the hunter holding a hand cannon, then like out from the barrel is like like almost like a silencer or a muzzle brake. So when it wasn't in Lightfall, wasn't in the database. So when I seen some people on Reddit, it was like, this calls for false advertising. Bungie was false.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I'm literally looking
Yeah,
at the
trying to do
Lightfall
a
page
class
right
action
now.
lawsuit.
It's right there on the Lightfall page. There's the hunter on the right side holding that exact gun.
Isn't this technically false advertisement?
Yeah.
Bunch of babies. God,
Because it's coming in the expansion. It didn't say a seasonal weapon. It said Lightfall. So it's coming within that expansion. So it counts.
So what Bungie's doing with Lightfall, they're actually taking the expansion and breaking it up into the seasons too. It's like this next season, whenever we get that quest, it's not a seasonal quest. It's part of having Lightfall purchased. So
almost like it wasn't ready.
mm.
And it'll
This guy.
there you go.
They spent the whole year like working remote, and things just didn't get done. It's all right though. I had a great time with what I've played so far. But I don't, I think with Bungie, you always got to look for the spin zone. There's always a spin zone. So you just, after 20 years of reading TWABs, you start to figure it out.
All right, speaking of not ready, Iron Banner is not ready for next week. So mainly that is due because after about an hour of playing, a lot of times players or yourself become invisible and we're not fully loading game. So with that, you got to like quit out the title screen and then basically restart your game and then come back in. So they didn't want that, like those play sessions of Iron Banner happening with invisible invisible enemies running around on the map. That'd be quite difficult to play. So what they're doing, they're switching around Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner week. So next weekend on March 17th, there will be Trials of Osiris. And then that following reset on the 21st, Iron Banner will start. Yeah. New Prime
It did
Gaming
feel pretty
Award.
good getting a 3-tap on invisible enemies though with the hand cannon. That was pretty fun. Like you felt really good when you did that.
Yeah, it's a new Prime Gaming Rewards. If you're into that, you get some free cosmetics and exotics. Now it's going to be the ban list for the raid. So there's going to be some weapons here that you're not going to be able to equip inside the raid. So that's Grand Overture, Fighting Lion, Winter Bite. That's the new exotic glaive, Jotun, and Hierarchy of Needs exotic bow. So, I mean, two of those are very, very new exotics. I mean, and they're kind of bugging out there with Hierarchy of Needs and Winter Bite. I seen that Grand Overture was doing some really funky things with explosive payload and swapping back to it. So, like, if you had explosive payload on a weapon, it was actually loading a missile into Grand Overture. So that's I understand why that got taken out. Fighting Lion was doing like 100k damage to rank and file enemies. So just clearing out rooms just like it was nothing. Jotun, I just know that the scavengers was like working weird with Jotun initially. I don't know if that's still the reason for it going on. Winterbite is doing like mad amount of damage to where Bungie is like, this is not the way we intended to do. So they got that taken out. Armor and mods not going to be allowed for the raid. Titan Ramparts, Thread of Ascent, Strand Fragment. That's the one where you use your grenade or reload your equipped weapon. And then Empowered Finished Armor mod. You like run Empower Finished with stacks on stacks, and you would always become charged with light and make special ammo. So you didn't have to be charged to make it happen. So that's why they disabled it. So Aeon's going to be very important. And also the Scout mod where you make ammo basically for your friends. So anything you think that should have been on the ban list that didn't make the cut?
Things that I think should be there, or things like, I mean, let's be honest, like Starfire's broke.
Yep.
Like they touched the like the Hunter Super and the hot fix today, so it
Silk
wasn't
Strike?
mentioned here. Yeah. Yep. So it's still good. It's still real good, but it's not what it was. Um, I really didn't see anything super cheesy outside of like those weapons, but I did expect there to be more um more stuff disabled just for like 48 hours, like maybe like the Starfire protocol, to do that, or but they didn't. So and like you said, they haven't touched the stasis nades and the osmiomancy gloves for 2 years either. So maybe that's what they want, which I'm fine with that. But
Mm-hmm. Probably getting prepared for one of the hardest raids that's probably been out since Last Wish.
wasn't there a Bungie developer that tweeted something about it being the most difficult raid in the last 5 years?
Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
All right. Next up, we're going to talk about the character versus campaign boost that you can buy. So the Lightfall character boost is when it appears when you hit the soft cap 1750 without artifact power with one character but have not completed Lightfall. This boost provides a selected character with a set of high power level gear. This boost does not skip the campaign. The Lightfall campaign skip appears when you complete Lightfall, skips the Lightfall campaign for your selected character, and unlocks Strand. This only includes a set of high power level gear if your main character has hit the soft cap. So those are both $20 a piece whenever you choose to do one. All right, I think they're both 20. I haven't done one. Don't plan on doing it on my Titan. Titan hasn't been touched at all, but I think I'm still gonna maybe play through the campaign one more time with it and not dish out the 20. All right. There is a big list of known issues, and read through it. If you have any questions about why maybe something's not working, make sure you look this up. And if it's not on here, make sure you post it in the Bungie help tab, because that really is where Bungie looks and tries to find some bug fixes, not on Twitter, not on Reddit, but actually through Bungie help on their website.
I also, if you are having trouble and Bungie help, nothing there, there is a subreddit like Destiny tech support, I believe is what it is, and I use that a lot before I like upgrade drivers and things to make sure there's nothing going on. That's where I found like super weird, hyper specific issues I'll have. A lot of times are answered there, and it's usually driver related. So if you have a stable driver, don't just update it because it pops up to tell you to.
All right, that's it for the TWAB. So I think we'll quickly cover the Vexcalibur quest mission and weapon and thoughts. First of all, did y'all get to complete the mission, and how far did you get into it if you did?
Nope.
No.
I got to after the third door opening puzzle. And then I died, and then I figured out it was a darkness zone. And then I bounced out. PC entirely turned off because I'm like I'm not doing it. Not that it was difficult, it was a dumb death, and I'm like that's like 16 minutes of my day right there that is just gone because I fell.
Yeah.
If I had gotten swarmed and then like I was like I just misplayed, I would have probably kept going. But that one, just literally, I was walking backwards and all of a sudden I'm falling, and I was like, all right, cool, never mind.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I got.
I always try to get the exotics done on the first day they're released. I don't know why I do that, but anything that's like mission based, I try to get done early. Last season, I did not do that with Revision 0. or whatever that was. So I felt like behind on that like the rest of the season because I didn't do it with you guys initially, and then everybody's like, just do it solo, just do it solo. So I was just grinding that stupid thing out on Legendary like 4 times the last week of the season while trying to get patterns to get the catalyst and all that. So I knew that you went to the Gulch, and I knew that you had to find like 5 or 6 cubes, and then go into a cave, and then you can start the mission. So I didn't really want to look up where the cubes were at. So I spent probably 10 minutes in that area on the Gulch. Found all the cubes because the cubes like correspond to the numbers, like the number sequence on there. And then I didn't know what cave to go in. I thought you went into the Lost Sector cave. That's like right there in the Gulch, kind of close to the spawn-in area. So I go down there, run the Lost Sector, thinking like he's going to be at the end of it or something. Not there. Come back out, have to get all the cubes again. So I did have to look up where the cave was. But after that, I did everything without any sort of guide or knowing like what the boss was or anything like that. And it took me probably an hour and 20 minutes inside the mission. I think I died. Well, I had like a darkness zone death like 3 times. And that was like completely blind. Most of my time was spent trying to, whenever you go into the room that's like the big square, I couldn't figure out where to go. And I found this green button that you could push. So I was convinced that there must be another one, or I had to find 2 or 3, push all the buttons, and then like the way would open. No, there's just kind of like a crack in the wall that you just kind of walk through and drop down. So it took me a long time to find that. And once I found that, it was pretty smooth sailing from there. None of the puzzles were really extremely difficult. I noticed there were like squares and diamonds. You'd have to remember what sequence to shoot them in, up to like 5 in a row. But I noticed that there were squares, diamonds, and triangles on the like that surrounded like the totem, so or like the Vex thing. So I imagine that there's going to be triangles in like the master version of this. So it's not just squares and diamonds. That's kind of what I imagine that is, and that's probably going to be difficult on master mode, I would think, because I was on a hunter. My hunter has like the worst armor, like stat wise. So I was a little squishy, but ended up just going back to the old invis loadout and just staying invisible a lot. Final boss was fun. Nothing like crazy hard to figure out what you needed to do, but had a good time. Wasn't too bad. Once I did get discouraged when I killed the final boss, and then you have to go like another 4 minutes before you actually get the weapon. I was like, oh my God, is it not done? Is there more? Because I didn't even start this until like midnight. And it was like 2:30 by the time I finished. So I was like, and I had to get up at like 6:30. So yeah, but we made it.
Yeah, I was at work and reading on Twitter. It's like, hey, something's happened in the Gulch, and I'm just looking through Twitter. I was like, oh, cool. There's an exotic quest out, and I was just like, yeah, that is like what Bungie always does. Week 2 of the seasons when the exotic quest drops, and just like, oh, yep, keep it on schedule. The mission wise, I mean, we have the turntables. Fox is doing it solo on a hunter. I'm doing it solo on a warlock. So how how things have changed. But the weapon itself,
Sucks.
It's a glaive. So
it sucks.
Yep. I did have narcotic grips on when I finally got it, and I went to go kill some Vex with it. And narcotic grips is kind of just crazy ag clear with it, but I'm also like in just a random lost sector, so nothing really can kill me anyways. So I just don't know what Bungie really wants me to do with glaives. To me, it's just they're never going to be it for a long time for me, and they have to be like really, really good. They almost have to do this, like they would almost have to be as hard hitting as grenade launchers are. for me to want to use a glaive for the projectiles. And at that point, they're so overtuned. Like, of course, you would use that over a grenade launcher then. So,
Yeah, I think that they're really fun for the 30 kills I have to get for the bounty, and then I'm done with it.
mm-hmm.
And most of those are just fun because I can just run into stuff and melee super fast and one-shot everything. So I really don't even use the projectile part all that much.
I mean, it's fun that this one synergizes with Void and giving your teammates Void overshields, which can be very, very good. I just can't make myself use a glaive. So, all right, so that's it for kind of what we did this week in the TWAB. So now it's going to be 3 likes and 3 dislikes. So I'll go ahead and kick it off with a like. I mean, Ashamir, seeing him again in game in the mission is probably my favorite part of the mission. Seeing him around, that Mithrax trying to decode, saying need assistance. They need note. He's calling out for his assistant. That is us. Can't wait to go back, find my teacher, and go back to assisting him for anything he needs.
All right. My like is that the exotic mission was actually secret. It wasn't data mined like the first week. We knew there was a weapon, but most of the community was like, "What? Something's happening in the Gulch? What are you talking about?" So it felt much closer to like Whisper, than anything else, where we knew ahead of time that something was going to happen and stuff like that. But with this one, it gave me vague Whisper vibes. And I was very happy about that. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, that's great. I'm glad that there's a mission. It looks like fun. Asher's back, and I found out by looking at a Reddit post instead of seeing YouTube videos on it day one of Lightfall. Like, hey, this is coming out next week. Like, no, I'm finding out the same day, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. So my like was also like the whisperness of it. There was like a little wink in the mission, like one of the platforming parts where everything is slanted at an angle, and you can like, if you don't, you have to like jump, and then like with the hunter you have to get below the ledge and then jump onto the ledge, or you like hit your head and fall off, kind of like the big drop sections of the Whisper mission, like where you're crouching under and like the walls are coming out and back in. Like there's like a little section of that was cool. And also something for the patrol homies, the dudes that just roll around in patrol doing their bounties and picking up the patrol missions. They're the ones that he's the dude that found it. I liked how if you like went to the comments of like his post, everybody's like, "Do you mean you just run around on patrol in the Gulch? Like what are you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just like doing that." Yeah. So I did like that. My dislike was just downtime, just stuff that happens. But no, I swear it wasn't mentioned, but they have done something to where I do not die as fast from like snipers and like Cyclops and Shriekers. So I don't know if those things were tied to frame rate before and they've like found something to like make it better. I also noticed that I don't get tracked as fast, and as like my timer doesn't run down on like the Seraph. You remember the Seraph mission, the lasers?
Mm-hmm.
When I do the Nightfall, like I ran it 2 times pre-hotfix and I ran it twice post-hotfix, and it's been much easier the second 2 times, and my window was longer, like running along the ledge and everything. Like I wasn't down to 1 second by the time I made it to the end. So I think they did something with that.
Oh, that's great. I hope that continues to improve. My dislike is the hate that's kind of like going around for Salt, and by kind of like rooting against him.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what he does wrong, and yes, he voices his opinion, and because he's someone that's so good at the game and at gaming in general that like he's it's gonna be so hard for him to understand anybody else's like see it through like the normal player's eyes when he's like, oh yeah, Wolver Mill's already broken and suspend lasts too long. And people's like, oh, this game's only been out for a week and you're already calling for a nerf. But he's just putting out there that it's like, hey, this stuff is overtuned right now. That's probably the things they're going to bring in. So he's just so much better at this game than everybody else. And I know it's not just him. There's a handful of other players out there that's at that level. But you kind of look at like everybody hated LeBron for a while whenever he was like the best player in the league, no matter what he did. And like
all time,
number 2 all time.
He's the boat. Jordan's the goat. LeBron's the boat.
And then you kind of see it happen with Steph Curry too. Like he was like beloved for like the first 2 championships, and then now if I kind of like is tired of it and hates on the Warriors. So the same thing has happened kind of in our community, and it's just no matter who it is, like whoever's the best, everybody loves them for the first couple times, and after you win like the third, so Salt's got 3, so now he's going to be hated because he just wins too much.
So we in America, we like to tear you down. We like to build you up, tear you down, and then build you back up.
Yeah.
Look at Chad's Lord and Savior Dado. Everybody hated him at the beginning of D2 because he came through and was like, hey, there's nothing to do in this game. I don't know what's going to happen. And everybody's like, you're a content creator and you know life and you play the game for 60 hours in the first week and then complain there's nothing to do. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, listen, you guys are going to be where I am in 3 weeks. So I'm just telling you how you're going to feel in 3 weeks. And I feel like what hurts Salt is, where's he from? Not from America, right? Based on his accent.
I thought he was Spain.
Yeah, that's. I
could be
thought he
wrong.
was European
Yeah.
somewhere. Sorry, Salt. And I want to say, we've reached out to Salt several times on this podcast, and he's always like responded back. Every time we've reached out to him, he's like got back to us immediately. So I like him. I'm rooting for him. But I think like the culture thing, I think that hurts him a little bit. Like how he approaches things is a little more brash than like how we do it here, and I don't think that goes over well. But like I said, I'm rooting for him. I hope they win it again.
I definitely appreciate brashness, but I think also the way I saw it on a post of people trying to figure out what the heck is going on, because they're like, I don't understand why people don't like him. Someone's like, oh well, do you know about football? And they're like, well, I mean, kind of, I guess. And someone's like, well, how do you know of other people feeling about the Patriots? And they're like, oh, well, lots of people don't like them. It's like, yeah, it's because they win a lot, and that's why people don't like them. That's it. Like, people don't like the winners, and that's totally fine. I get it, but like the hate is unnecessary. You can like talk junk when you're with your boys, but putting it on the internet is just a cowardly thing to do. And that's fine if you want to do that, but it's cowardly, and he's a monster. Him and his squad are absolute monsters. And that's it. That's just what it is. So they're fun to watch. Watching them tear things down, figure it out, and do all this nonsense is ridiculous. I wish I had, like, if our squad had like a quarter of that team synchronicity, bruh, that'd be wild. It'd be awesome to see. We figured things out, and we're as we've said plenty of times, we're on the bell curve of average. We're 1 percentage point on the higher end, and that's it. We're not any better than that. We just play a lot.
We can't
We
damage.
just play a
That's
lot.
our issue.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the damage thing. And it's because we don't spend time practicing doing DPS damage as a solid 6-man squad on things. And we could, but we don't have the, we don't have the another 3 guys that are in it for the long haul with us, that are with us the entire year doing this. Which is sad.
Too old.
But they got the money, they get paid for it, and that's why they do it, and they're monsters. So, whatever. People don't like them. People don't like them. People don't like everybody. That's fine. We're still doing dislikes?
I think you gotta say yours, Chad.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody else had a dislike.
Good. I dislike not having enough time to play this week. Like I said, I think I said in the beginning of this, or it was in the pre-show. I didn't have time on Tuesday. I didn't play. I got time to play yesterday. Couldn't play. I played a little bit, and then I fell off an edge in the Vex network and just turned it off. And then it's podcast night. So this week's just a wash. Whatever I can get done tonight is what I'm going to get done, because as soon as I get home tomorrow, literally I'm going to get home, shower, and sit down and start playing. So we're going to try to get in there as fast as we can. So like I'm running Fred. We're running through as many pinnacles as we can tonight before we going in. Problem is I don't want to go to sleep too late, but I think we should be going to bed at a reasonable hour tomorrow too, because Saturday is the day we're going to really hit hard. But no. I have not liked that I haven't been able to play the last 2 days really.
Yeah. Just make sure you try to stash 5 to 6 weapons in each each slot, in case you have to pull over somewhere.
I got 9 on each character at 1800 base weapons, just 9 of them, just sitting so I can infuse things.
Yeah. Okay. Just make sure he's doing the same.
I got plenty of infusion fuel. Yeah. Oh, I told him about it today, but I'll make sure.
All right, now we're moving on to a weapons breakdown. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to recommend a weapon, or like the framework of a weapon that, it's not really meta. It's not being talked about. It's not in one of these YouTube thumbnails of like, hey, you got to bring this into day 1 raid. So, right now, everybody's posting like Sleeper, Witherhoard, the Izzy Rocket Swap, Striga builds with narcotic grips, like, all that stuff is out there. Like if you see one, you see another 5 or 6. So my challenge to you two and to myself is name a weapon that nobody's talking about out there, that you're bringing into the day 1 that potentially can just save the encounter or make it easier on yourself. So for me,
my first. Okay, yeah.
All right. So for me, I haven't read any spoilers. I don't know who the enemy type is yet. But if there's going to be a bunch of arc damage, Risk Runner is the play. Risk Runner is so good when it comes to arc. You take that, you get the arc resistance, you're chaining arc. It's really good at that. So it's also a exotic primary. So you're going to be making extra heavy. And then you make sure you run that heavy scout mod at the same time. So when you're making a finder brick, you're making one for your teammates. And it could be really good. So if you're getting bombarded with arc, Risk Runner.
Okay. I'm definitely, just because weirdly raid bosses, some of them interact very weirdly with this gun, and it can happen with G-Horn as well. But Wardcliff, I have one chilling, just 1800 chilling on a character, waiting just in case, whipping it out and having 6 people Wardcliff and something to death happens. Like instantly, because it happens where 6 people shoot and the HP just goes from 100% to 0 with one shot from everybody, and it doesn't make sense. I remember doing that to the sisters in Kingsfall.
Yeah.
When people are like, yeah, use Wardcliff, and then people are like, well, Yallarhorn works and it's easier. It's like, well, I guess,
Yeah.
but Wardcliff was hilarious. Just hearing 6 of those happening everywhere. It was amazing. So Wardcliff can do some weird stuff. So it's always fun to see, and that's why I got it ready to go, and my heir apparent, just in case I need some big guns.
Well, I feel very underprepared for this segment. What I would say is I would be looking at things that like one thing that I was thinking, and it's kind of a cheat because I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but like Dead Messenger, something that like if you have multiple shield types or something like that, or forbearance, you can get some pretty good forbearance rolls, or if you have one crafted. But I think forbearance is a little too well known to kind of qualify for the question. So what I would recommend, so it's likely. So typically in raids, we have boss encounters and puzzle encounters. The puzzle encounters, you usually have half the team doing like the puzzle and half the team split up and guarding. So you might have 2 teams of 3, 3 teams of 2. And there's going to be some people that are going to have to be able to take out ads in a hurry. So I'll have a couple heavy machine guns ready that are legendary. So just off the top of my head, we have like Terminus Horizon, Avalanche, Archon's Thunder, Commemoration. There's a new, what was it, like Circular Logic or something, I think, that comes out of the new like termination protocol or whatever it's called. So like I would have something, you might not need it, but just have something there, because you can, if you ever get overwhelmed, they're really good at ad clears, especially the, I know Chain of Command was a ritual one that had like demo. They did have like adrenaline demo on it, maybe.
Chain of Command. I think so.
Yeah. So there are some good ones, and the one from the raid from Vault of Glass, it had a roll that could get like rewind rounds. So maybe check your vault, see what you have, and it's not going to be like a DPS thing. It's solely going to be like very specific cases, but you might be good. The other thing, if we ever have like short burst, like we need burst damage, like damage in a hurry, don't forget about the Lament. Probably have one of those ready to roll. And then Parasite. Haven't seen a whole lot of stuff about Parasite. And the other one was what is it, like the Fourth Horseman, that you can get like all those shotgun shots off real quick. And then like if you are like a hunter, you can dodge and reload it. And I think like with the Catalyst, you get like 6 instead of 4, or 5 instead of 4. So you can get a lot of damage off in like a very short amount of time. So that's some stuff that I would just, you're probably not going to need, but just like 5 or 6 things to keep an eye out for.
All right, there is our weapons breakdown. I'm sure next week we'll actually start going down some weapons that's come along this season or came along in this expansion, and telling you what the wolves look out for. Hopefully by then we also got some more weapons unlocked and patterns unlocked. Next up is Gambling Corner, and Fox, go ahead and take it away.
All right, so last week we all did 1,000. Let me back up. I always do this. I always forget there's new people that come in. So Gambling Corner, each season we all start off with 10,000 Glimmer, and every week we have to make a bet. A lot of times here early in the season it's anti-bets, and if you ever run out of your money, like if you go bankrupt, then you have to put up a weapon that the other two determine how much, whenever you delete that weapon, what the like how much that weapon would be worth to buy back in. So if you have like a God roll, what's the void auto rifle that we all have? That's really good.
Gnawing Hunger.
Yeah, Gnawing Hunger. Like if you have
we
like
don't all have it.
Yeah, I know. So I know we don't. So we have one of those, like a gun that can no longer be acquired. That's going to be worth more than just like a crafted version of a gun that has like 400 kills on it. We're not going to give you a lot of credit for that. Current standings after the first week, I was at 13,000, Jared was at 9,000, and Chad was at 8,000. Our bet this time would be who would have the highest like power level as a like base power level as of the time that we started recording the podcast today. I think I benefited by those early morning play sessions over these guys this week, so I think I got a few more pinnacles in. I finished at 1807 base. Were you guys higher than that?
No, I was at 1804.
Same here.
Okay, so and that was just 1,000 ante from everybody. So standings going into next week: 8,000 for Jared, 7,000 for Chad, and 15,000 for me. So I've opened up a pretty good lead here. So what I was thinking we would do this time, $2,000, and it's just even odds. I feel like at 48 hours, it should be even odds. Do the Conqueror Corner boys get their first contest mode clear of the raid? Yes or no? So you double your money if you win. 2,000 becomes 4,000. If you lose, then obviously you lose.
Okay. So for me, I'm going to do an emotional hedge here. I'm going to go no, we won't. We won't get it done.
Okay.
No.
And I am going yes. So I've been on a heater. So let's hope the heater continues. No, yes. I'm disappointed in both of you. We'll say that, considering we get the benefit of having strategies from other people and not being dog ass tired.
True.
When we finally make it to the boss and we can't hold our eyes open anymore. So, like realistically, where would you like to be whenever we go to bed Saturday night, or Friday night rather? Friday night. Sorry. I would love to be past the first boss, which I assume is the second encounter.
First boss? Okay. Jesus.
That
I think two encounters. I think
that's exceeding expectations for me. To me,
Yeah.
it's getting through first encounter, seeing second encounter, and seeing how second encounter is going. I feel like if we're at that point, then I'm pleased with night one.
Okay.
And me being who I am, I think we'll beat the opening and maybe beat the first encounter and then wiggle around in that would be the first boss around and then watch some videos and go to bed, refresh, unless we're really going for it. But I think going into the first boss and like getting our bearings and watching videos and calling it where I think we'll be at.
Yeah. So do you remember whenever we went into like the last raid that we did contest mode for? Because we didn't do it for King's Fall, did we? No. So, but before that, we didn't have issue with like survivability really. It was about like just getting the damage and figuring out like the call outs. Remember like how many call outs there were for that raid?
Yeah.
So like those were the things that like finding the rooms, hitting a rhythm, but really like as far as like surviving, we weren't taking a lot of deaths. But we also had like protective light that lasted forever.
Oh, yeah.
So could be a little different.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think this raid I feel is going to be more King's Folly than Vowy. Just pure conjecture. I think it'll be more enemy does stuff instead of we have to do stuff kind of a thing. I'm hoping because it's more intuitive that way. Because it's like shooting at the enemy. What's going on? Like I'm getting immune. It's like, hey, I shot this glowing guy, and now I'm not shooting immune. It's like, okay, and just figure that stuff out instead of what are all these symbols? Look at them. We have to make 30 names, memorize it, and then going into rooms and trying to, oh my god, like that.
Yeah.
Like I hope it's add an enemy and boss based mechanics instead of picture based, or
So-
very minimal picture based, which is fine if it's like 5 or 6 things.
So a few things that we know that's going to happen. The opening encounter, which is not even counts as an encounter, is going to be painful and long. Every single one of them has that Bungie's made.
Like the sparrow, the Duncan, the orbs.
Reservation mission.
Yes, like
preservation.
Deep Stone, going from like that frostbite zone and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
that was not bad.
It's terrible. I hate that.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. It
That
sucks
was-
so
that was
bad.
heavy, dude.
So we know that's going to be a thing. Chad, I think you're looking through. You'll be disappointed. I think we're going to have like 50 callouts for this next raid. So it's going to be like puzzle heavy.
Well, good
That's
thing
like-
we have Zen
That's what
on
makes
our
it.
side.
That's what makes it difficult. It's like the communication for day one and like to get it done in the 48 hours. It's not like the actual like living and like putting out DPS. It is like making sure everybody does the right action. That's how Bungie's going to screw with us. Because everybody's like too good. I mean, we've been playing this game for 7+ years. We understand how to kill enemies and how to hype on them now.
What makes things hard is like whenever some people see things and other people can't see those things. Like you have like the buffs, you know,
Operator
like the
and
spotter.
scanner
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Deep Stone.
yeah, scanner. Yeah, so
We figured that one out so fast. We were faster than Dado's team on that stuff. You're welcome.
yeah.
So figuring all that stuff out, that was no problem. It's the figuring out the call outs, making names, and then figuring out what the heck we're doing.
We did
And then
decent on
making
caretaker.
everybody figured out. Oh yeah, caretaker. Well, because the first section, the whole problem was us learning what things were, and each
And
of
our
us figuring out a name to
stupid-ass
call all them
names.
the same thing.
Yeah.
That was the problem. Because once
do you
we got to
remember the-
caretaker, we were all already there. We all already knew.
Do you
what was
remember the
going on.
Google Doc? You remember the Google, like the shared
Yeah.
Google Doc that we had?
Yeah, that's why I said I'm happy we have Zen this time,
Oh man.
because he is our Google Doc bro.
Yeah.
He is our Excel spreadsheet man.
All right, so I think that wraps up Gambling Corner. We're not late enough in the season to have half-baked takes yet. So I believe that takes us to our Chronicler section with the lore. Chad, what you got for us this week?
Ooh, today we're going into the Season of Defiance weapons. We're not going into any lore books yet. Obviously, it's still very early on, so we're not talking about any of that. But we're going to go into the weapons. The weapons are little individual stories in themselves. I figure since we're going to be talking a lot about the raid, I won't have as much time, so we'll get through these. I'm going to start off with Kinetic, make our way down. First one we're going to go through is Perpetualis. Devram K. sat at a dingy workbench tucked away in a corner of the farm. He stripped and cleaned his rifle with practiced efficiency, his fingers moving on their own as his mind wandered. The sniper recalled a conversation he'd had with Ido, Mithrax Kel's daughter. Devram had found the scribe charming, both wise and guileless. They'd spoken at length about her vision for the House of Light as a peace broker between Elixni and humanity. In the moment he'd been convinced by her youthful optimism, it stirred something in him long dormant, a vision for the future beyond the day-to-day violence in his life in Trostland. He left their conversation confident that a brighter future awaited the Elixni. But now, in the cold light of day, his cynicism reasserted itself. Even if the House Light remained a staunch ally, he doubted the other Elixni throughout the system would follow suit. After all, the average Vandal wasn't fighting for politics, ethics, or philosophy. They were fighting a zero-sum game of territorial control, just like he was. Besides, war was all he had ever known. He'd grown up in this conflict, been raised by it. Without it, what was he? Devram looked down and realized that, with surprise, that his rifle was already reassembled. He'd completed the task without even noticing. What could anyone do against such deeply ingrained violence? He shook his head, frowned, and started again. Raconteur, the bow. Scribe Ido. Ido looked up from her datapad, from the endless, repetitive reports and documentation that were normally part of a Kel's duty, and was surprised to see Crow standing at her threshold. Valask, he said. Ido jumped to her feet and returned the greeting. Is there something I can do for you? Ido asked. He just wanted to say hi, Glint said, bobbing up from behind Crow's shoulder. Oh, hi. Hi, Glint replied, his voice bright. Crow smirked sheepishly. We met in another life. I used to tell you stories with the other children when they were about this high. He gestured to his knee. And you were about this high. He gestured to his shoulder. Yes, Ido said, delighted. Prince Aldrin told us many stories. They were very informative. She remembered the voices he put on, the gestures, the flourishes. Warm memories. Our hatchlings would be delighted if you came to tell these stories again, Ido continued. It would be very educational. We share an oral tradition, as I'm sure you know. Ido's 4 eyes twinkled. And I would like to hear your impression of Miss Raxkel. I'm certain it is impeccable. Crow nodded, smiling. Consider it a cultural exchange, he said. Ido nodded vigorously, then froze. Oh, how rude of me, she exclaimed, embarrassed. Would you like some refreshment? I have several teas from Eris Moore, and some of them are not so odorous. Before she could reach for her kettle, Ido's datapad chirped. It was a sound she had come to despise. I'm very sorry, she said, hoping he would understand. I'll leave you to it, Crow said, turning to leave. It was a long time ago, Ido called after him. So much has happened since then, but I'm pleased you remember. She tensed for a moment, but relaxed when Crow grinned and shrugged his shoulders. How could I forget? Prodigal return. Transmission from the farm to Eligos Lex V, Keidel's flagship. I greet you, Mr. Xkel of House Light. House Light and its Kel thank you, Keidel Kel, for her response. We have done the dance of pleasantries. We may set aside our titles and speak as allies. What is it you wish to discuss? I speak my concern with difficulty. I will listen. No audio detected. I have devoted myself to freeing my people from harm. Not only from our enemies, but the harm that a parent may cause a child. We Elixni call this shadow of generations. Why tell me this? Your father, my father, is dead. Whatever is left has no hold over me. The shadow still falls. I look upon my daughter and I remember my mother's violence. There is pain and recognition. No audio detected. We are more than what they were. We are more than what they have done to us. Anything else? That is all I wish to say. Very well. Eligos Lex V, terminal disconnected. Connecting. Connection failed. Try again. Disconnected. Royal Executioner. Petrovenge looked down at the weapons range where the Corsairs practiced advanced infantry tactics. The pop and sizzle of live ammunition filled the air. It was only a matter of time before the Awoken were pressed into battle once more now that the Eternal War had taken Queen Mara to Earth. The Queen planned to stem the Witnesses' advance by imbuing the Guardians with her powers, allowing them to stage counterattacks via the Ascendant Plane. She dubbed them her Queen's Guard. Petra frowned. The Vanguard had proven to be staunch allies, most recently during Zevoroth's siege of the Leyline network. Nevertheless, Petra had reservations about allowing Guardians to wield Queen Mara's power. Although they appeared civilized, the Lightbearers were not far removed from the utter barbarism of their dark age. She sensed that same savagery still seething just below the surface. Petra wondered if the Vanguard would ever be worthy of Mara's beneficence. But if the Witness achieved its aims, all else would be irrelevant. She turned her attention back to the Corsairs' infantry drills. Whatever the outcomes on Earth or Neptune, the Awoken would be ready. Queen's Wrath would guarantee it. Regnant. The House of Light had no barons, no archons, no other Elixni in any position of authority. Thus, it had fallen to scribe Ido to assume Akel's duties in Misrax's absence. She was forced to abandon her books. After all, they were supply lines to oversee, ether stores to maintain, negotiations to conduct. She spent her mornings distributing ether to the hatchlings and the afternoon brokering deals with Spider. The rest of the day had been spent listening to the concerns of her father's people, her people. Now Ido was greeting a lone Elixni who had come to her among the civilians Devrim sent from the EDZ. He was trembling so nervously she was worried he would fall apart. Even as they sat together in the Batsa district surrounded by fellow Elixni, he kept glancing upward at the great machine. Ido didn't know if it was with wonder or terror. I act on behalf of my father, Misraxkel of House Light. She spoke gently in their shared language, trying to ease his fear. I am Ido, scribe of our house. Ido, the Dreg repeated. He practiced her awoken name a few times until he could pronounce it. My name is Thrissix, houseless. Thrissix, you've done a brave thing, she assured him. There are many like you who have defected from House Salvation. We will care for you here. You are safe with us. Ido told him how they had come to live in the city, how they were welcomed and protected, how the light had provided for them. When she had finished the story of her house, Thrissix raised his 2 arms and bowed his head. He had stopped shaking, but he still spoke with a tremor in his voice. Thank you, Ido Kel. Ido lowered her head. She could not stop herself from chittering quietly in delight. Caretaker. Drifter leaned against the bar in the ether tank and watched the morning's bustle. Days started slowly now that the Kel was out of town, and the deposed Baron of the Tangled Shore preferred the night shift. Spider did not want to wake this early. So, Spider said hoarsely, addressing the scrawny Elixni who stood beneath his overbearing gaze. With Misrax so busy saving prisoners from the Shadow Legion, it's become my business to find you all a little gainful employment, do you understand? The Elixni hissed and chittered in response. Let's not be rude, Thrissix, Spider said while gesturing to Drifter. We don't want to exclude our friend from the conversation. The Dreg responded before Drifter could voice his indifference. Thrissix, speak human. What does Spider want? His voice was filled with derision. A look of surprise crossed Spider's face for one bare moment. You speak it well, Spider responded in an oily tone. Wonder where you picked that up. Thrissix said nothing. Spider continued. As for what I want, I hear you left Aramis's house. There's good glimmer for secrets, even more for spying. Thrissix pressed his 2 fists together over his chest and pulled his arms back sharply. Thrissix knows you, Spider from Tangled Shore. Thrissix has nothing for Spider. Drifter laughed. Spider leaned forward, his rebreather emitting a low, guttural hiss. Say that again. Thrissix did not flinch or look away. There was a moment of tense silence. You heard him, Drifter said at last. He ain't interested. Spider huffed and sat back in his chair as Drifter led Thrissix outside and into the streets. As you just saw, Drifter said in a low voice, Spider's trying to use a little charity to bring more people into his crew. Idol told me to keep an eye on him, and she told me another thing. You're good with kids? Drifter paused as Thrissix silent confusion. Hatchlings all swaddled up and smiling, so cute you could eat 'em up. Confusion turned into apprehension. It's just an expression, an old Earth phrase, Drifter explained. Anyway, a lot of orphans coming in from the EDZ, and your scribe's a bit preoccupied. Ido said you'd look after them from the other day, even led them in a little song. That true? Yes, Thrissix likes hatchlings, the Elixni buzzed. Drifter grinned. Good. Let's hope they like you too, Teach. So, the first thing that popped out to me the most, I think, is that Keitel and Misrax had a private conversation amongst themselves. No other humans involved at all. So I think that's one of the few times that we've had our allies speaking to each other as allies as well, not including us. So that was interesting. I think it was Misrax's way of trying to connect and tell her that, you know, she's good. If she needs someone to talk to, he's around. He kind of knows where she's coming from. But tell her that she'll be okay in a weird way. And she obviously mad about it, but I'm sure it's heard.
Yeah, so I'm guessing like Elixni, they're like insect based, how they lay eggs and stuff, and then Cabal
Yeah.
like mammals, so we can't even ship them as a couple, right?
Yeah, they're like marsupials. Yeah, no, you can't ship them.
Yeah.
Sadly.
That's a weird conversation. Bunch of dorks. I think that takes us here to the mailbag. We do have a bonus question and then an extra question. I don't know what the difference is between a bonus question and an extra question, but I just made that up. So, number 1, how many patterns do you have unlocked of the new weapons?
The second half of Chad's name.
Sarah?
0. My answer is
I have-
also 0.
I have 2. I have the iterative loop and the regnant.
Jared, I feel like Ryan made this question because he knew our answer.
Yes. Yeah. This question was me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So just kind of throwing a little salt in
Mhm.
there.
I think
So,
people have had enough of salt this week.
That's what they call a callback in the business, folks. Number 2, if Math Class, Dado's team, Redeem, Glad's team, and Elysium, Salt's team do not win, who would you be happiest to see win the
Ooh.
world's first?
Ooh, just some random Discord people. Like,
Okay.
not even streaming, nothing.
What was it?
Just-
Wrath that they the random group won.
I
Like
think
the
it
pug
was.
group
Yeah,
one?
I want that to happen again real bad.
It was Wrath of the Machine.
Just
I'm
'cause
like
it'd be fun.
99% sure.
Yeah,
It was just
but it's
random
one of those,
dudes.
yeah.
Just
It's just
they-
that,
I think they met on Discord like the day before the raid and decided to try it and ended up winning, which is hilarious.
Awesome. I want that. That's a dark horse that is underdog story. It's excellent, and I'm here for that.
So I guess we can't like have any team from Math Class. Only Dado's team is excluded.
I don't guess I know the JV team of Math Class.
Yeah.
So if you want to pick them,
So
then go
Leopard,
ahead.
like Leopard Stealth team.
Oh, Leopard. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he wasn't on the
Ooh.
main team.
Yeah.
It'd be good is if Travel Danielle is on the Math Class team and they win it.
I would like
I will
that.
die
I would like
laughing.
that. I would like that a lot if that happened. I guess I was thinking like maybe like Giggs's team.
They have one though.
Yeah, they did. They won.
Yeah. They got Last Wish.
No. Last Wish was Redeem. That was Glad in them that got Last Wish. I think they got, what was the one the second raid layer?
Eater or Star?
No, the stars.
Spire of Stars or whatever. Nope. Yeah, Spire of Stars.
Yeah.
Man, let's see. I guess what if like I guess you'd almost have to go like Fallout or like Aztec Ross just because they've like stuck with the game. Like when the game has been bad, they're still pumping content out. So
the other one that came to mind
probably
is Equagan and his team. I think they're G1. Are they G1 now?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I think he's like G1 EK or something.
Yeah.
Some of his socials maybe. But yeah, so something like that. Question 3. Whenever you get your first completion and only one person gets the raid exotic, assuming that it's not a quest, who do you think would get it? I would say Zen. Zen always has pretty good luck with those.
I think it's time for Chad to get it. Chad's probably gonna get it first. First completion.
You're saying that so it don't happen, and that's making me upset. I was gonna give a real answer and say either Zen or Ryan, Those are my two guesses.
I want to change my answer to Chad as well. He's due. So, question 4: do you think there will be any world changes or a cutscene, blah blah blah, that happens after the world first completion? Yeah, probably. There'll probably be a cutscene that everybody gets when they log in, like the next time after. It'd be really cool if there was something that happened in Neomuna, though, right? So what does anybody have the raid description handy? Like,
Nope.
Hold on.
yeah, I don't have it. Does it say like what happens to make this? Like, I know why we're doing it, but I don't know like
We're just
if
going
that's
in to stop an
public
ancient
or spoiler.
is all that it says, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Ferried from an unknown time and place, a haunting presence has been detected. We must now confront the ancient threat growing at our doorstep.
Okay, so we don't know what the threat's trying to do, though.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I'll just leave it at that then. So there'll probably be a cutscene, and I hope that like a new part of the map opens up, or there's like a change that happens. That would be cool, but probably a little bit wishful thinking. Number 5: what snacks or drinks do you have ready for the raid? I have Coke Zero and lots of water bottles, and I have some G Fuel powder. Should I need it? And Hot Fries by Andy Cap.
Nice.
Nice.
I have these good Waterloos. They're just sparkling water. Very good. And then I have a Phase Up Ghost ready to go. Popping that open as we load in. Just get myself in the right mindset. And then the Jonas Brothers popcorn. I think it's only at like Walmart or Sam's Club, and it is divine. So, yeah.
I have to ask, what is it? Is it like a kettle corn or like a?
I can't stand kettle corn. It's
Okay.
too sweet. I'm always a savory, but somehow they found the right mixture, just a hint of sweet in there, because my wife is all about kettle corn. That is the right level for both of us. That it's enough savory in there with a touch of sweet. It's just the perfect mixture.
You're gonna
You
have
can order them
to.
online.
Can you post a picture? Post a picture in the Discord.
Okay,
That way I can
will
know what
do.
it looks like.
We'll do.
Rob's Backstage Popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can order it online. Nice. Oh, they got a barbecue flavor.
Yep. And they also have an Indian flavored one too.
Indian spice.
Yes, that one's also very good.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks
I haven't
pretty good.
had the barbecue one yet.
Yeah, I'm curious about the
I
barbecue.
don't know about barbecue popcorn.
I mean, you gotta try
like-
it, man. You
I like
gotta try it.
salted butter popcorn and white cheddar popcorn.
But I do
Those are
say
my two.
White cheddar
I
is
am-
delicious.
Yeah.
I am ordering a feast. I'm taking a half day work tomorrow, and then I'm going to the city barbecue and ordering a bunch of food, a bunch of mac and cheese, baked beans, all the smoked
All right,
meats,
all right,
and
all right.
eating that
Something
as
you
I'm
can just
watching the
heat
day
up
one
real
race.
fast.
To the
Yeah.
Sheedy barbecue.
Yeah.
Sheedy walk.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I got some breads. I got some snacks. I got granola with protein, peanut butter. Make myself some bean and cheese dip, because beans have good nutrients in it too. Keep you going. And then I'll probably
Good for your heart, too.
I'll probably will order some salt and pepper wings, because they're delicious. I'm really stuck on them, dude. Since I had them the first time at this place, because it's right nearby, so I'm like, it's good. But yeah, I mean, those are my snacks: chips, dip, and other easy munchables that I don't have to heat up or do nothing with. Although that popcorn sounds real good.
Yeah. So here's the bonus question. If one main character of the Alliance was going to break off from the Vanguard / the Tower of Power, who would you be most likely to follow? This is a hard question, because if you're talking about real life Ryan, I am a guy that I don't like change, and I don't like to take chances. I stay right in my lane, and I stay there. So I probably wouldn't do it at all. But if we're talking about my guardian, um, I would say the best bet to follow would probably be the drifter, because he's going to go with wherever he feels he has the best chance to win. And if you follow him, you'll probably have the best chance to win.
Okay. Man, I feel like the odds of Fox choosing the drifter was like minus 800.
Yeah, heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Heavy favorite.
For me, I usually like people that are structured and know what's going on. And I know Zavala would never leave the tower or break off, so he's not even a candidate for me. So it would have to be Saint 14. If Saint's like, I've had enough of this and I'm doing my own thing, I'd follow him.
Okay. I'm going to say Misrax. I'm going to lead him and his people. I'm going to be a right hand Misrax, and just
Which right
really
hand?
help. The
Like
lower
upper
one.
right hand or the lower right
No,
hand?
the lower right hand. Yeah.
All right. Now, full disclosure, this question did not come in to us directly. This question I saw in another thread, and I absolutely love this question. A little bit of a mix-up to end the show here. Jared and I both listen to the Ryan Russillo show, and he does a segment called Life Advice, where people like write in, like kind of what's going on with the life questions, and he answers them. This is like just kind of like a wink and a nod to Mr. Russillo. The question: when someone that you've liked just broke up with their significant other, how long do you wait until you shoot your shot?
I'm giving it one night and I'm shooting the DM the next day.
Sheesh.
I mean, if it's meant to be, it's going to work out. But if with this person you're going after is that great, other people are going to be trying to go after him too. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm no good at this stuff, so I'm gonna say nothing because it's wrong. Whatever I say is gonna be wrong here. So I'm
whatever
just
Chad
gonna
says,
leave it at
just
that.
do the opposite.
Yeah,
He's like a Costanzas.
Just overthinks it. Just never does anything
Yeah.
because he just can't decide what to
exactly. Yep, 100%. Yeah.
do. So don't do that.
Yeah, I would, if this was me going through this, I can tell you I will speak my thought process out loud. My thought process would go something like, well, I don't want to do it right away because they're probably not going to be in a place to where they want to date or see anybody else because they're just getting over a breakup. So I'm going to give them some space, make sure that I'm kind of close around, try to get invited into like the whatever group that this person is with, try to be part of those like group get-togethers that always happens when somebody goes through a breakup. Let's go all get together and go to an escape room, blah blah blah. So then what would end up happening in real life is I would wait too long and completely blow the chance of all of it. So it's kind of a tough question. I think a lot of this being the right answer, if this really is you, the things that are important is how long have you known this person? Have you had any sort of chemistry or dating type thing in the past? Is this an issue to where you've always kind of been attracted to each other? However, maybe you haven't both been single at the same time, or the right time never happened to where you were both looking for each other at that point. If that's the case, I'm with Jared. You shoot that shot early, maybe not the next morning, I'd maybe give it the weekend, you know, maybe. I guess that's just something because if you like this person, and it's not just like an attraction, like somebody that you barely know and you're attracted to. I kind of took this question to mean something along the lines of it's somebody that you've known for a while, you just haven't dated, but you've been interested. I think you have to wait at least 72 hours. Because if not, is this one of those deals where they break up and get back together like in 24 to 48 hours, and then you've kind of blown your friendship by shooting the shot in the DM 3 hours after you find out that they're single? So, you just kind of have to know the person, but I want to say 72 hours.
A lot can happen in 3 days. A lot.
Jesus rose from the dead. So,
yeah. Yeah. It just one day nobody would have believed it, So, now I'm not saying that you like instantly like, hey, come over, it's Netflix and chill. You got the lights, the candles going, you got wine out there. No, I'm not saying that, but it's like, no, it's like, hey, I heard you went through this. This happened. So I'll let you know you're not alone. Let's go get like coffee or something chill. Like you're talking like maybe a 10 a.m. meet at Starbucks thing, That's a low pressure situation. It's not like in a romantic type of deal. Just being there, Yeah.
Or you could get together and eat some caramels, right? Because I mean, what's the difference between that and coffee, right? Just arbitrary things. I would say if you are coming in. By the way, that's Good Will Hunting. If you've never seen the movie, reference there. I would say you probably don't want to go for like the $200 restaurant fancy thing coming and shooting in right off a breakup. So I think we're on the same page there. You don't want to go to the big steakhouse to where you have to wear like a jacket and all that. This is like a Dave and Buster's situation, in my opinion.
Or like if you're in like a really heavy sports town, like it's like you either got a football game, maybe a soccer game. Like a lot of soccer games are on like early in the morning, right? This person could be in the soccer. So you're hitting the English pub, at like 10 a.m. Getting a couple Bloody Marys going. It's going to be a nice, just relaxing time.
Couple sangrias.
Yeah.
Chad, anything to add before we end this foolishness?
Well, I think no. Nope.
Just like ask them to go surfing or something. I mean, come on. What do you Cali boys do?
I don't know, because whatever it is, I'm not doing it. At least I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
So we'll call it there.
Hey, what if what if they're like a big gamer? What if that is? What if you invite her over or him over or them, whatever, this person or whatever pronouns they use, you come over and you just grind it out. I'm not talking about like the bed grind. I'm talking about let's get together, run some pinnacles, get our Vanguard rank up. Maybe they love Gambit. Is that a deal breaker? If all they want to do is sit around and play Gambit, they're like a seven-time gilded dredgen. Like, what do you think about? What would you do?
What if this was a Destiny situation? Like you're just a 2-man fire team looking for that third. And you see some rough waters over on the other side.
Yeah. Then you got a menage situation happening. So, could be a great time. So, all right. Well, we're going to end this here. So, remember, I'm the Destiny bad boy. We're going to be like the world's 1700th completion, somewhere around there. And we're going to get that emblem, and I'm going to wear it for probably the next 2 years. And it's going to be fun. Going to hang out with my buds. Going to watch the world's first race for a little bit. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. We'll probably try to stream. Last time I tried to stream our 24-hour thing, I was having like OBS issues and Like it was lagging and doing a bunch of foolishness. So I probably shouldn't have updated OBS a couple weeks ago. But I'm gonna let these two guys sign off.
Yeah, so here I am, 100 main, going into a day one raid again as a warlock. You know, you 100 mains, you know the drill. You know how warlocks are a must for the team. You need to have at least 2. If you don't have at least 2 on your team going in day one, just don't even go. You stop it right there and make somebody change.
And look at me, Titan main. Going in is probably a Titan, so I don't have the same thing to say as Jared because I'm not a hunter. But hopefully we'll have everything up and running. You guys can watch us, talk junk at us, and just have an all around good time. It'll help us keep us in good spirits and keep us from feeling the pressure. And I think that's the reason we're taking the breaks is to make sure we don't get in that pressurized mode, because that's where things start to fall apart. So we're hoping to keep it sweaty, but not too sweaty.
Sweaty confetti.
Thanks for listening. Go Cats. Love you guys.